What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we're going to be taking a look at what feels like it might be the final game of the Toronto Maple Leafs season this year in the 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs as they head to Boston for Game 5 of the series, down 3-1 to the Bruins. Now, the reason I say that and the reason I say it like this is because in any other given circumstance, if they didn't play the way that they did on Saturday night, I think even 3-1, we would say, you know what, they could climb their way back. Through the first 3 games of this series, we watched this team play pretty well and just not have the bounces go their way. Not be able to finish on some of those extra chances. Or, you look at it and say, in this game, the 0 for 5 power play was the issue. Maybe when William Nylander comes back, these little things will be able to be fixed. Austin Matthews gets sick, has to leave the game on Saturday. And then we also saw one of the most pathetic, embarrassing, outright disgusting efforts we've ever seen from this Leafs team be put forth into action in a home playoff game with a chance to tie the series before heading out to Boston. That was one of the biggest daggers I've ever felt as a fan to this team. And truthfully, as much as I would love to see this team go on and win a Stanley Cup, I sit here before you today and tell you that I have zero belief in this team's ability to win this year, because it feels like everything we thought ahead of the playoffs came to fruition on Saturday night, and what we knew about this team and the fact that it was always going to come down to the Big Four and whether or not they had the guts to get it done. Well, at this point, on Tuesday morning, recording this game preview ahead of Game 5, I truly don't feel like they do. So maybe they win this game tonight. Maybe they win the game on Thursday. But I think that there's next to no chance that they win this series. And even if they do, there is no shot that they win the Stanley Cup. Because all in all, we've seen the mentality of this group. We've seen the lack of heart in this group. And that's just what it is. Sometimes you got to call it for what you see. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing no heart. I'm seeing no guts. I'm seeing no passion, no fire. And it feels like we're about to walk to the execution of this group here tonight in Boston. I just don't think that there's a way that this Bruins team lets up and lets this Leafs team back in, especially after what this Bruins team went through last year, going up 3-1 on the Panthers and then letting that one crumble away. That Panthers team, by the way, was a fiery, intense team. That Panthers team was a team with a lot of grit, a lot of balls, and a lot of heart. This group, this Leafs team before us, they don't have that. They don't have what the Panthers had last year. So my expectations ahead of tonight, well, realistically, I don't really have any, because Jekyll and Hyde in the blue and white has given us no reason to have any type of faith in what they might do on a nightly basis. I couldn't tell you if they'll show up tonight and get pumped 7-0. I couldn't tell you if they'll show up and they'll pump the Bruins 7-0, or if they're going to try their very best to climb back in this series and just fall short. I have zero idea, because you know why? It's because I know this team so well that I know we know nothing about this team. There is no identity, no guts, no passion, no fire, and nothing that carries over from one game to the next. So why would I sit here and try to tell you, fans just as much as me, that I know more about what's going to happen tonight than you do? I have no clue. I have no clue what'll go on with this group, because on any given night, from one shift to the next, from one period to the next, this group changes. They change how they play. They change whether or not they care. They change their intensity, their structure, all of it. So who the hell knows? I don't. What I do know is that tonight, Joseph Woll will be starting for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So there you go. That is our first change that we're going to be seeing here. Austin Matthews is an unknown. He did leave after the second period on Saturday. Seems like he's dealing with a sickness. As for the morning skate here, he went out before the optional. He was out there for a few minutes, they said, skating around several minutes, however long you want to take that for. Skates around, departs the ice before the actual optional skate comes out. Kind of a weird situation there. It kind of leaves us all up to determine that we don't know what's happening. I saw our friend Jay Rosehill tweet out during that whole saga that Matthews basically, in his opinion, went out to see if he could do it, decided he couldn't, left the ice. I feel like for myself as well, that's probably the direction I'm heading as to whether or not he'll go. It feels like the William Nylander situation from Game 3 where we saw Nylander skate with the team, skate after the fact. They were just trying to test his limits, see what he could do, and then wait the remainder of the day to see how he felt, see how he recovered, and if he could get to it. It just feels like Matthews is seeing what he can do, and we'll figure out after. This obviously leads us to some new lines. Max Domi centering the first line with Mitch Marner. That feels like it's not a placeholder line. That feels like that's what we're going to see to start the game here tonight. Line 2 saw William Nylander alongside John Tavares and Matthew Knies there. As for the bottom 6, I'm not going to dig into it too much. I don't think it matters really, and whether or not we see Matthews will determine how the rest of that bottom 6 shapes out. And more so what I mean is, where is Marner going to slot into if Matthews is back? Are we putting Domi across on the wing? Is Sheldon Keefe going to be a hero and try to play Mitch Marner with them? I truly don't know, because this group, it's just impossible to understand and predict. So that's kind of what we saw out of the lines. As for what I think we'll see tonight, I'm not really sure. I know you guys are probably watching this right now and thinking, what a great game preview. This guy knows nothing. Right now, for Game 5, guys, truly, I don't know. I could say everything I do know based on who's in, who's out. We don't even really know that to an extent here. We do know TJ Brody did skate on the 4th pairing, which would indicate he will not play here tonight. Timothy Liljegren likely to slot back in. So, for lineups, that's the best that I can do for you guys. But let's get to our best bets, where I am thrilled to welcome Bet365 as Leafs Nation After Dark sports betting partner just in time for the 2024 playoffs. We'll be here with Bet365 to provide you all the news, analysis, lines, and betting options for the playoffs. Bet365 is the largest sports betting platform globally. You can open an account with Bet365 today and use promo code TLNBONUS. That's TLNBONUS to bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Remember, gambling can be addictive. Please play responsibly. Eligible iGames conducted and managed by IGO are only available to those physically present in the province of Ontario. You must be 19 plus to play. But that's going to bring us to our best bet for today. Let's head on over there to the Bet365 website right now. And this is where we're going to be taking a look at tonight's best bet for myself. There's one thing that I feel pretty comfortable with, and it's the intensity that William Nylander will bring in the playoffs. And what I mean by that is this guy does not care. He does not change his mindset. He does not change his attitude. He doesn't care what the media says, the fans say. He doesn't care whether or not Mitch Marner is crying if he thinks it's Junior. He doesn't care if Austin Matthews is playing or not. And I think after Nylander got caught on cam, he's going to know he got caught on cam yelling at Mitch Marner to stop effing crying. He's going to know he got caught on cam telling him it's not Junior anymore. And Nylander actually played with some intensity. He played with some fire on Saturday night. I didn't mind his game. So when I look at him here tonight, I feel like he's going to be looking like it's time for me to step up. So I'm going to go to the shots on goal market. I didn't really like the number on anytime goal score for Nylander. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But when I look at some of the other markets, power play, don't trust it. Is Matthews playing? If Matthews is not playing, trust it even less. This power play stinks. So where else can I go? Well, shots on goal. William Nylander over 3.5 shots on goal at plus 110 is going to be my best bet for the night. The reason I'm looking at this here is because I feel like he's going to put it on himself a little bit to just go crazy, to be the William Nylander that we saw in Sweden, to be the guy who steps up in the moment and says, I've got us, I'll put the team on my back. And whether or not the team wins the game or comes through or fights back in this series or not, you know what? Maybe I've just fallen in love with William Nylander a little bit too much over the past little while, but I have faith in this guy. I believe he cares. I believe he has the passion. I believe he has intensity. And I feel like he's been our most trustworthy playoff guy over the last little while. So at 3.5 shots on goal, I feel like that's just probably the right number. But I feel like the plus 110 is where I'm getting the advantage. I don't feel like this should be a 4.5, 5.5 type of number for William Nylander shots on goal tonight. But what I do feel is that plus 110 is a little bit high. I think we should be closer to a plus 100, maybe a minus 105 range with this guy, because I feel like he can go over it in this spot specifically. I'd like to point out, in this spot specifically, I feel like he's going to go over the 3.5 more than 50% of the time. So if you're going to go more than 50%, I think I'm getting a good number here at plus 110, which would indicate that it happens less than 50% of the time. Nylander, anytime goal, Nylander over 3.5 shots on goal, plus 110. That's my best bet for the night. Make sure to head on over to Bet365 to bet it. I mean, like, look at this interface. Clean, easy to use, easy to navigate, quick to find stuff. I took 2 seconds to be able to find this bet here on William Nylander shots on goal. So that's my best bet. Over 3.5 plus 110 for tonight's games. Head on over there. Make sure to check out William Nylander, 3.5 shots on goal, plus 110. That is tonight's best bet. Guys, I don't know what to expect tonight. I truly don't. I wish I could tell you. I wish that I could feel more confident and comfortable in what's going to go on. I just can't. I just don't know what's going to go on. This is a Jekyll and Hyde group. We're not even fully sure of the lineup, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. It feels very much up in the air, and you'd like to think that this group won't just roll over and admit defeat and say, that's it, we're done, we're out. But knowing this group, it feels like that's probably what they would do. So that just puts me in a weird spot, leaves me with a weird feeling. No matter what happens, though, we will be right back here following the final buzzer to break down everything that has gone on in the game. The good, the bad, the ugly. It'll be talked about right here on the show, so make sure to tune in. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys very much. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Head over to nationgear.ca to get your exclusive Bleed Blue merch now. Exclusive Bleed Blue merch. No matter what happens, I'm going to be bleeding blue. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Look forward to seeing everyone in the post-game following tonight's in the post-game stream following tonight's game. Thank you so much. See you then. Keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.